Well, welcome back. We're here for our Lunch and Learn this week, and we are in the middle, or we just started last week, a series that I'm going to do over 12 weeks, and it's basically the CEO mindset. What we're working from is becoming, last week we talked about from becoming an employee and how we shift into becoming the entrepreneur. But today's focus, we're going to shift again, and we're going to talk about the clarity that actually gives us power. Let's dive into the why, the what, and the how of our businesses. Okay, so I want you to ask, where do you want your Mary Kay business to take you? Simple. Today this is clarity. This is the vision. I want you to think about it. Take some time in this area. Where do you want your Mary Kay business to take you? Now, if it's just like I would love it to take me on a vacation every year with my family, great. You still own a business and you still have to have a different mindset or want to have a different mindset. Okay. I want you to use prompts. I'm going to give you a worksheet on this that you can download. The prompts are in 1 year, I see myself. You've done this before, right? In 5 years, I'd love to be. And then this one's the one I love the most. I want to impact, spend some time journaling that out. And then share your vision as an example. Share that, okay? Um, and share with others. Tell your family, this is how I want to impact others. This is where I want to see things, because the more you're sharing the vision of your business, the more I think it holds you accountable. So for me, an example from my business, how I see myself. So in 1 year, I see myself on target, ready for us to have the pink Cadillac, because it sets our unit apart. I want our unit to be set apart. I want to be on track in as far as the goals to become a national sales director. In 5 years, I would love to be at that national sales director and just thriving in that area and impacting the impact here, impacting other women's lives, impacting their families generationally, because they're seeing that they can actually have a steady business that can put God first, their family second, and then they can actually serve other women and impact other women. So this is a generational and a perpetual uh, cycle that's going on. That's what I want. So I just want you to think about this. Vision is the destination. We know that the Bible says without a vision, the people perish, right? Vision is actually your destination. It's the thing that gives you directions. This isn't new, you guys. We can't jump in our car and just take off. Even GPS needs you to put the coordinates in. Where do you want to go? So it knows how to get there. You may get there different ways. You may even get a little lost. There may be a detour. There may be road construction. You may have to wait, pull back, sit in line for a minute while the road construction, those things might be happening. But listen, even though road construction is going on, even though, did I forget? Oh, I didn't forget to detour. Yeah. Hey, Gabrielle, even though there's detours going on, even though there's road construction going on, you're still going to get to the end result. Why? Because you actually have set that in your GPS. So that's the reason it's super important that you have a vision starting out. So to be a CEO of your business, we talked about the mindset shifts. And again, we're going to work on this we got 11 more weeks. We're going to be working on that, counting today. And it has to start with a vision. So without a vision, you're just going in circles and you're just sort of like picking up, okay, what am I going to do? And the vision is for the day, for the week, for the month, for the year, for your goals. The vision can also be in parts, and that's super important to have. So, and then next we talk about a mission. Now, this one is a little bit different. The mission is actually the vehicle. So you've put in your coordinates, that's your vision, you know where you want to go, but the mission is actually the vehicle. It's how are you going to get there, and by what means, and why it matters. That's your mission. So I've heard it a lot of times, people will use this as a formula to figure out their mission statement. I love when families sit down and say, what is our mission statement as a family? So valuable, because what's the vehicle that drives our family, so that anything else that comes along, we're like, this doesn't align with our mission. So it's a no, it's a hard pass. Same for your business. The mission. So here, let me give you the little formula. The statement prompt is, I help fill in the blank by fill in the blank so they can fill in the blank. I'll include all this. You have it in a worksheet. So, for example, I help women. Boy, I'm going to need to work on my mission statement. Let's do this together. I help women who are looking for a way to add to their finances in their family and build legacy in their family by sharing and by building, helping them build a Mary Kay business so that they can show up for their family in a way that they've never been before, so that they can maybe pay all the bills, so that they can empower their family. They can empower others because now they have choices with their choices. Spend some time in this. So I help women by empowering them with information, with a product that's proven, with business strategies that are proven. So then again, they can pass that on and empower others. Play with it and what works for you. And then I really want to encourage you to actually write this and share it, put it up, print it out. And I'm going to go through this with you. I think it's something we work on together because my vision and my mission has changed in the last year. And so as I've gone through this and I'm putting this 12-week, CEO mindset series together for you, I realize my mission and everything has changed because in this process, I don't want to just talk, I can talk about makeup. We absolutely can have the one-on-ones on that. We can talk about specifically for Mary Kay, which I will incorporate that during these sessions. And then we stop the recording or we used Q&A time. But I really, really, my heart is to teach you how to be a businesswoman. Okay. So also, Gabrielle, do you know what your mission statement is? Do you have one that you know already?
Am I there?
You are.
Okay. So I've actually just started really working on this. So like my mission is to help women, um, learn their true identity and to know, that they're beautiful inside and out. And the kind of like the real verbiage that I'm trying to include in there is that they are more precious than pearls.
Mm.
I need to fine tune it, but that's like the outline kind of, right?
Perfect. And then in that mission statement, when you're working on this, the next level of is like how do I do it? How do I do that? Like I help them see their true identity. I help them realize they're more precious than pearls by how do you do that?
Yeah, that's a great, that's the part I need to work on.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that is what I'm working on.
Perfect. So it would be by how do I do it? By, and you could come up with your statement so that they can, what is the reason you do it?
Because I believe that this is like generational. I believe this is like a transformation to keep, to help really bring freedom so that they can step into who they were created to be, and just to pass that down generation to generation. I believe it built like I have a vision of mothers and daughters like just experiencing joy every time they're around each other, and building joy with other women, and just, I don't know, empowering them and just dispelling, I think, like all the lies of what the world is telling us that we have to be or have
Mm,
to do.
so good. So it sounds like you really have your who you help, you have so they can, you have that base. The thing really then to work on is that middle by. How do I do it? By and then coming up with a clear statement for yourself so you know how you do it. I know that in your mind you're thinking, well, Mary Kay is the vehicle, which is how I'm doing it, but how do you do it? By what? By walking them through a series of trainings, by empowering that, by setting them up in skincare systems, because you could have two missions. One mission is for your business and one is for your customers, right? You could have,
Oh yeah.
you can help women. You can help women learn their true identity and all those things by two different ways: by helping them in their business, build a business out that can empower, or by building their confidence in their outward appearance so that you give them permission for their inward appearance to be confident.
And the confidence part, that was the part that I was like, I think there has to be like, confidence is definitely part of that. So thank you
Right.
for just saying that again to just kind of affirm that for me.
You're welcome. And again, I'll pop in a worksheet for this because I think this is really important. A lot of times we jump in and just start doing all the busy work and we have to stop. And that's great as an employee. But if we're really going to think of this as a CEO, we have to know our why. We have to know the vision. What do we see happening in the next year, in the next month, in the next week, in the next 5 years? What are we seeing? Because we have to look bigger. A CEO steps out and looks back and say, how do I want this to look? Because it's very easy to get caught up in the business and then you don't work on the business. Do I need to say that again? Does that make sense? If you're working in the business, you're like, blah, 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 blah. But as a CEO, you have to take that step back and look at your business so that you know how to work on your business. How do you need to be relevant? How are women buying? How are women listening? How are women viewing things? Are you doing that research as a CEO and spending an hour a week as a CEO time where you figure out your week, you set up what's important, you realize what went not so great last week, what do I need to move forward, what's coming up that I need to prepare for. I talked about this in another meeting with a group as CEOs of this business. We need to wonder what's going on, what's coming up. Well, we should already have our Mother's Day plan out. Father's Day should already be starting in the works, and then summertime. Because if you ran a store, you couldn't just react to everything. Oh yeah, I forgot about Mother's Day. Oh yeah, I forgot it's summer. Kids are out of school. Oh yeah, there should be a plan. And in the summertime, you're working in all of those fall and winter holidays and things happening in that time. That's that's why we joke around and say, right? We leave Christmas and already Easter's up. I mean, it's crazy when you go into Hobby Lobby, you're like, are you kidding me? Like, how did this? But we have to be like that with our ideal client and what aligns with our vision and our mission for our business and how we want our business to run cannot be a knee-jerk reaction. There needs to be planning, and that requires that CEO time. So asking yourself, what do you want your business to feel like? I mean, as women, this is one of my favorite. Like, we like to feel things, right? But what do you want it to feel like? Gabrielle, do you have I mean, you're on here live with me, so you get to be picked on. What do you want your business to feel like to you and to others? I want to, and your team. So you have three, you, your customers, and your team members. What do you want it to feel like?
I want it to feel like meaningful. I
Mm-hmm.
don't want it to just be if I didn't want meaning, I could just go to Walmart, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I want it to be meaningful. I want it to be relational. I don't want it to just be here's your task list. Just go check everything off.
Mm-hmm.
So I want it to feel relational. I want it to feel meaningful. I want there to be fun. I want there to be joy and laughter. I have a lot of experiences in my life. So, I want my team to feel like a sisterhood.
Oh, I like that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I really like that. I love it. So I heard you say is meaningful, relational, fun, joy and laughter, sisterhood. And even though you may feel like maybe you're listening to this and you're like, that doesn't sound like business at all, doesn't it? It does, because if there are certain places you go into Chuck E. Cheese, there's a feeling. When you go into Nordstrom's, there's a feeling. And everyone we get to in this business decide what that feeling. You may be the person who says, well, I would like them to feel like they have a high-end experience with me. I want them to, then you have a focus. That gives you a focus. Whereas someone else may say, you know what, I just want it to be, again, super relational, but you have a feeling. I want it to feel more fun and playful. Then you get to gear your branding, you get to gear how you show up for your customers, your team, yourself, your business. That whole feeling gets, you stay on target to that, because if you do, it's all in alignment. So what I like you spending that week is like, how did I, knowing that if maybe you put a name to this feeling. So maybe your branding feeling, Gabrielle, is joyful. Maybe your branding feeling is fun sisterhood. Everything that needs to go through that filter. You think about your week. Did I make my team feel this way? Did I make my customers feel that way? Do I feel like I presented that well? Was it no? Where do I need to tweak my alignment so that I continue to stay on brand for my mission? Because if those values are on brand, then you're going to have joy and you're not going to feel all over the place. So, Gabrielle, you want to add to that?
Just, I was just thinking about something that, when Vicky all shared with us, pretend everybody has a sign on that makes them feel special, right? Like that's what I want it to be. I want it to be precious. If something's precious, it's not easily replaceable, right? There's value or it's invaluable. Like I want it to feel very precious, like something that I'm guarding
Ooh,
and you know,
I'm writing notes for you. I'm writing notes too, so I have this down for you. Um,
I appreciate you.
so in all this, even though this is being recorded, one of the exercises I have on your worksheet for you is to either write or circle 3 to 5 values that maybe guide your business decisions, maybe that reflect your brand or your personality. And I'm just going to put some examples on there for you. So it would be like integrity, confidence, service, faith, excellence, connection, growth, fun, freedom, empowerment, meaningful. I think I love the meaningful, relational, fun. We already said that, joy, laughter, sisterhood, precious, right? Um, and those are core values. And it's so important. Then everything is filtered through those core values. A lot of times, a lot of times, we think that when we are just jumping in and starting a business, that none of this really matters. But I promise you, you go into multi-billion dollar organizations and you ask them, can I see your core values or your mission statement and your values? They will present it to you. They have one. And what they do is, and I've worked for several corporate organizations, they incorporate that. They'll say, for example, oh, let's come up with this new thing we're doing this year for employees. And we will say, well, where does this align with our core values? I feel like this misses these 2 core values that we said these were the most important things to us. And if we're doing this particular project or this new idea that this is how we're rolling this out, and it doesn't meet these 3 to 5 core values, it's not hitting our core values, then it's not. The other thing is you can set a precedence for yourself where you can say, okay, I have my 5 core values for my business. So when you're hiring someone, and if your core value to you is some relational fun, joy, laughter, sisterhood, you're not going to want to hire someone who's maybe a super high C personality that they're so detailed and that's a very high C would be like an accountant and bookkeeper. While you need that person to have those skills, you may not want to hire someone who's has that as their intense personality. They're so intense because it won't align with your core values. But you don't want someone like popping off, jumping all over the place that can't get their work done because they're just having so much fun, but they're able to actually have a personality that aligns with your core values. And if you don't know them, you won't make decisions based on your mission, your vision, and your core values. So let's see what else I have. I pop in some notes. What else for vision do I have? Um, let's see. Yeah, and then sharing your top 3 are super important. Coming not just with your family, but share them with us. Share them in our group. These are my 3 top core values that I mean, these are non-negotiables for my business. Are these 3 things? Probably a lot of you are going to say faith. And you see the core values in Mary Kay? Literally, we say them all the time. God, family, God, family, business. That's a core value. Go give is a core value, right? Golden rule, service, core value. We are ingrained in Mary Kay's core value, but you may have some that you're like, okay, those are Mary Kay's. I agree with those, but I also, for me, maybe go give as a part of your specific company's core value. Instead, it's fun or joy. It's sparkle, whatever you come up with that your core value. I think we've got that down. So we understand that vision is what brings us direction. The vision is putting in the coordinates into the GPS. Okay, what's my vision? My vision is I have a Cadillac unit. We are national sales, national area. Women are empowered and they strive to leadership because they see the empowerment of it. That's the vision. I'll just giving you mine. That's direction. So those are the coordinates I'm putting in. I'm saying this is what I need to do, and I know I have to do it by this time. There's my vision. It's clear. I see it. I've got it posters up on the walls. I see the vision. So what's the mission? That's where my focus comes in. I help women buy, and here's why. So they can. I help women buy so they can. That is that is actually then your mission. This is what I do, not the big picture. Now we're coming in to the mission, and then we're coming down then to your core values, right? The core values are this is how I align everything. This is how I keep the wheels from doing this. This is how I keep myself from getting off in the weeds. Everything every week gets filtered through those core values. Does this align with that? No, then it's not going to work. It's going to be a not now or a hard pass. Okay? Not your best yes. All of these things become your internal compass as a CEO. They're vital. They're vital. And then it's fun doing this even with your family because it becomes a compass. Your family has its own vision. What do we want to see? Even if it's simple as our family is a family that takes a vacation together every year. Our family is a family that, for our family, we take a Shabbat every week together and we shut down and we spend this valuable time together. And how do we do it? By working hard for these 6 days so that we can do this because it brings rest and joy to our lives. Okay, so closing out this before we go into kind of a Q&A time and talk about anything you want to talk about. I want you to take some quiet time and challenge you 10 minutes, just 10 minutes, and just complete the worksheet that I'll pop in all the places. And then I want you to share that with us. Just taking a minute. And basically what I'm asking you to do is I'm going to give you an example. I'm asking you to write out your vision statement. Where do I see my business going? And what kind of lifestyle and impact do I want to create? So my vision in 1 year, 5 years, the lifestyle, what it's going to look like, people I want to impact. Okay. Number two, you're going to spend the time on your mission statement. Again, what I do, who do I serve, and why does it matter? What do I do? Who do I serve? And why does it even matter? So, the example, I help busy moms feel confident and beautiful by simplifying their skincare routine so they can show up empowered every day. Simple. I help buy so they can. This one is it really about you? It's what you're doing, okay? And then the core values, I wrote some down. I want you to circle 3 to 5 of those. And I'm excited. I'm excited to hear from you. I'm excited to hear how this helps to align as we go into these next things. I have a list for you. Let me see. Let me pull up my list of what we have coming up. Um, Interesting. Love how it's doing its own thing. Oh, here we go. I'm going to tell you kind of what the series you can look for, what we're in the Lunch and Learns are going to come up. We just did this one on next week. We're going to be doing, well, why didn't it do it for me? All right, here we go. So next week we're going to be talking about time management for business owners. We've done that before, but I'm going to really focus on Mary Kay. I'm going to focus on ways to not multitask because I'm not a fan of that, but how are we going to make the most and how can we automate without taking away that personal touch? So we're going to talk about time blocking again, the difference between busy and being productive, creating this weekly rhythm so that you have income producing activities that are going to work well for you. And then week 4, we're going to talk about goals. How do you create SMART goals? How do you break those down? How do we use a scorecard and trackers? And are you the person that even likes to do that, or does that just drive you crazy? I've had to adjust this in my own self. We're going to talk about week 5, some financial basics, talking about profit, expenses, investments, how to track income and expenses simply, how to use your Mary Kay money wisely. Week 6, we're going to do building your personal brand because again, this isn't just Mary Kay. We want it to be Gabrielle King because no matter then what Gabrielle King does, everyone's following Gabrielle King because she is her own brand. A good person that does this is Kristen Sharp. I recommend looking her up on Instagram, or she builds her own brand. But it's obvious that Mary Kay is the car that drives her brand. But when she retires as a national sales director, guess what? Kristen Sharp is going to be able to continue because she has her own brand. She's going to be able to write books. She can do anything under her brand, under Kristen Sharp. So we're going to talk about why that's important, some social media do's and don'ts along with that brand creation. Week 7, we're going to talk about customer service and retention, uh, the lifetime value of a customer. As a CEO, you want to know what is the value of a lifetime customer. If I have a customer for 20 years, let's make it simple, I need to know how much that is. The reason is because when I tell you something like sending out, for example, I'm doing these survey things and I may send out a packet to someone and the investment might be $25, but I know that the lifetime value of this customer is going to be $25,000. $25 doesn't seem like a big deal for me to make $25,000. And that's a mindset shift from an employee to an entrepreneur, from an employee to a CEO. And understanding, if you understand your numbers and the lifetime value of your customer, which is part of customer retention, about follow up systems, building those relationships, personal touches, how you actually create loyalty. And I probably will have a guest speaker helping on that one. Week 8, we're going to do marketing and exposure. I'm going to also have a guest on this one talking about Facebook ads. How do we do marketing? What's important about your exposure? How do you get out in front of people, whether you are introverted or extroverted, online or offline strategies? How to invite without being pushy, creative, being creative so you're different and you're innovative. What makes you look different than everyone else? Week 9, we're going to do sales skills and confidence, understanding that whole process. How do you approach it with a big open heart of curiosity as opposed and sharing and teaching as opposed to selling. We're going to really dive into that. Week 10, we're going to talk about leadership and team building, shifting from that me to we, and what new consultants really need from you. And that's something I'm growing and learning in through Mary Kay because it looks different than other companies I've been in. And then building your culture and momentum, which guess what? If you've got your vision, right? You've got your mission, right? You've got your core values, then you can incorporate that as part of your culture and your momentum. So when you're thinking of a name for your unit or you're thinking a name for your national area, you are going to be able to do that under the guise of those 3 to 5 core values that mean so much to me. For me, leadership is a core value, is strong leadership and leaving a legacy. So we are legacy leaders. That was helpful to me and it aligns with those values. Week 11 is systems and scaling. I love systems. So we're going to talk about simple systems to stay organized, duplicatable because there's things that you want to be able to use maybe as a director, as an upper level leader, when you have a little more expendable income to be able to maybe purchase things as opposed to as a newer consultant, as you're building your income, things you aren't ready to invest in yet. So we're going to have both. Talk about CRMs. We're going to talk about boards. We'll talk about Trello, different ways you can use different tools that actually would be free for you. And then finally, in week 12, we're going to talk about the CEO day, the business review. Actually, what do you do on that CEO day, that monthly CEO day that you actually, how to use one? How long do you really need? Reviewing your business, your quarter, celebrating, casting vision. What are you going to do for the next session? And we're going to go over that in good detail. So that's what the next few weeks are going to look like for Lunch and Learn. Again, these will all be recorded and available to you, and Q&A we'll do after. But be blessed, and I'm looking forward to next week.